Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I'm really excited to make this video today because we get to talk about arguably the best and or biggest metal guitar brand out there, and that is Jackson Guitars. And as of today, September 6, 2023, they're back with a new guitar, and it's not exactly anything new from Jackson Guitars. We've seen a lot of similar guitars, but it's got a new name and it's got an interesting price point. So we're going to dive on in today, okay? Before I start talking about these brand new Jackson Guitars and we start giving some commentary, if you feel inclined to subscribe and or like this video, I'd really sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance, okay? So we're on the Jackson Guitars website right now, and we are going to be checking out the boom American Series Virtuoso. Virtuoso played, American made. It's kind of a cute little tagline there, but yeah, dude, basically we have another USA made guitar from Jackson Guitars. Now, why should you care? Good question. Well, in my opinion, Jackson Guitars' USA line over the last couple years has really kind of shifted a lot. Meaning, when I first started YouTube about 6 years ago, the USA made Jackson Guitars were sitting at like $2,500. Then over the subsequent 3 or 4 years, they literally doubled in price. Then Jackson Guitars came out with a bunch of subsequent lines to fill the void and fill that price gap between $2,500 and $4,000, give or take, with a lot of different lines from China and Japan as well. Then they also came out with the American-made Soloist last year that was sitting at, give or take, $2,500. Now, talking about the American Series Virtuoso, if we click on Shop Now, the price point is really shocking. I sound so dramatic, but seriously, man, it really shocked me. And we have 4 different colors, and they're sitting at, give or take, $19.99. It's $19.99, baby! That is actually really, really affordable in the grand scheme of things for an American-made Jackson guitar here in 2023. So we're going to check them all out, man. I'm assuming they're all the exact same, so first glance, it literally just looks like a Soloist and or a Dinky. You know, it's not, like I said, it's not a new model per se. It's kind of what you would expect from Jackson Guitars, like a super shredder, Strat style guitar with a floating Floyd and, you know, all the above, right? So it's not a new model per se, it's just a new name. So that's interesting. So I'm going to click on this one right here. This one's definitely my favorite visually. It's a tie between this one and the, like the surf green, I guess we'll say. But this shell pink's awesome. If you don't like shell pink, you can get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. Whatever your favorite color is, I don't care. I personally like shell pink a lot because it's ironic. It's, you know, not cliche. It's, I don't know, it's cool, man. You know, it's not just all black, you know. So the main thing that I think is keeping these price points down is right here. Boom, the bolt-on neck construction. Generally speaking, if a guitar has a bolt-on construction, it's going to be more affordable. I mean, that is not exactly true across the board. I mean, look at a lot of the Ernie Ball Music Man stuff or like the EVH Wolfgangs. That's, you know, a general blanket statement. So in comparison to the Soloist that came out last year, these are bolt-ons, and I think that is certainly cutting the price point down a lot. We have a 5-piece neck here, roasted maple, and I'm assuming maybe just some regular maple. We're going to check it out here in a second. Go to locking tuners. We have some sort of Floyd, obviously. By the looks of it, looks like a 1500 series and some brand name Seymour Duncan pickups. So pretty specced out, man. So I want to look at the specs right now, see why it's $19.49 or $19.99 depending on the color you choose, and then we're going to do some price matching on the guitar market. Jackson has continued to revolutionize its high-performance craft over the last 40 years while dominating the metal landscape as the industry's leading shred machines. I would agree with that 1,000%. Designed to inspire players around the globe, the American Series Virtuoso comes equipped with the essential features demanded by today's high-velocity players. The model starts with an alder body, handshake heel. Here we go. The multi-laminated caramelized maple/maple neck. Okay, so I was correct. Roasted maple, aka caramelized maple. It's just Jackson's way of saying roasted. I don't know why they don't say roasted, but you know, here we are. And then just plain old regular maple. 12 to 16 inch fretboard radius. That's what you would expect from a Jackson shred machine. That's pretty standard there. Side dot lumen lays, Seymour Duncan JB and a 59, okay, relatively standard, I guess you would say. Floyd Rose 1500 and Godot locking tuners. Jackson foam core case included. Okay, so not a hard shell case, a gig bag, I guess we'll say. And then taking a look at all the different colors here, here's the most expensive one, the Mystic Blue. Maybe that's a metallic, maybe that's why it's a little bit more expensive. Then we got a plain old black one, and then we have a Specific Ocean. Specific Ocean, that's an interesting, it's an interesting color choice. Not Seafoam. Yeah, so this one right here, as well as the shell pink are my favorite. I think what's interesting too, I think another reason why this, I could be way off on this, I just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think after, you know, being relatively informed with the guitar market over the last half decade, if you take a look, this is streaked ebony, not plain old ebony. And I think the streaked ebony is not as like desired of a wood. It's a lesser than wood just from a visual aesthetic. Like it's not all jet black. So I think maybe because this is streaked ebony, it's like not as sought after. You know, it's literally ebony, but it doesn't look all that good. So like maybe they would save the really, really dark ebony for like a custom shop. That could be a hot take and I could be way off on that. But I feel like streaked ebony is like a less than, or viewed as a less than type of ebony because it's not full on black. You know what I'm saying? Correct me if I'm wrong there. I would love to be educated and corrected if I am. But I think that might be why it's like on these guitars, because these are affordable USA guitars. You know, affordable, just about $2,000. But I'm just saying. So yeah, man, just to wrap up these real quick before we do some price matching here, these are pretty safe, and that is not a diss or anything like that. That's a compliment. But they didn't like do anything sort of wild or wacky or anything like that. They kept the cost down. They gave some really great, awesome looking colors. Like I said, I love the seafoam. Oh, pardon me, I like the specific ocean and the satin shell pink. I think those are cool. You got to throw a black one in there. I mean, it's Jackson guitars. You got to have a black guitar with Jackson guitars for all the metal players out there. And the Mystic Blue, it's honestly kind of my least favorite finish, but it is the most expensive. All right, so now for this portion of the video, I want to compare and contrast some other guitars on the market that I would say are direct competition with these guitars. And I kind of just want to, you know, just see if $19.99 is a fair price point for these guitars, because I think Jackson Guitars, and somewhat unfairly too, I think Jackson Guitars gets a lot of heat and a lot of flack for their prices. And I'm not really sure why, but you see that all the time, whether it's the Pro Series, the Pro Plus Series, the American stuff, all the above. So yeah, I just want to take a look at some other guitars on the market and see if $19.99 is a fair price point. So first and foremost, we have a Jim Root Charvel here. This is a 1500 series guitar, bolt-on Super Strat, Super Shredder, for $1,500. Now these have brand name pickups. The only difference is made in Mexico, not made in the United States. So for the fact alone being made in the United States obviously makes things a lot more expensive compared to being manufactured in other portions of the world. So for $500 more, you get the USA price tag. So this is like literally, in my opinion, almost the exact same guitar. Here's another Charvel, one of the satin primer gray ones. Now, this has a Floyd Rose 1000 series, but it does have the Seymour Duncans in it. And it's, again, literally like the exact same guitar. So this guitar right here costs half of these USA Jacksons. So, again, made in Mexico, Floyd Rose 1000 series versus a 1500 series. This guitar is literally half the price of the USA Jacksons that are coming out here. So let's compare and contrast an actual Jackson guitar. This one is from their Made in Japan series. This is a dinky bolt-on construction. And these are actually more expensive than these Virtuosos here. So, in my opinion, the Virtuoso is definitely a bang for the buck from a Jackson standpoint, where like these made in Japan guitars are more expensive. So the USA Virtuosos, I don't know, makes more sense to pick that one up. As in my opinion, I feel like it's the exact same guitar, just made in a different portion of the world. And then also too, off screen, I did some custom shop building. I went to Kiesel and Balaguer guitars. First up, I made a Kiesel A2 that's shell pink as well with a Floyd Rose original. And this is almost exactly the exact same guitar and literally the exact same price. The only difference would be Kiesel pickups versus Seymour Duncan pickups, and a Floyd Rose original versus a Floyd Rose 1500 series. So virtually the exact same guitar, and Kiesel Guitars is a custom shop. And yeah, man, in my opinion, like $19.99 seems relatively reasonable compared to, say, Kiesel guitars. Then last but not least, I went to Balaguer Guitars, made the exact same guitar that Jackson is offering, the Virtuoso, and actually the Balaguer guitar costs a little bit more money. It costs like $200 more. So keep that in mind, man. $19.99 seems like it's right in that fair price point. So, you know, like I said, man, I feel as though Jackson Guitars gets a lot of heat and a lot of attention for their prices, for better or for worse. But I think these are actually pretty fair price points. The only obvious difference between, say, Kiesel and Balaguer guitars is stainless steel frets, and that's a huge factor for me personally when buying guitar going forward. I really don't know if I'll ever buy a guitar without stainless steel frets. I mean, maybe here and there, but like, you guys know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a huge thing for me personally. So the fact that these guitars from Jackson don't have stainless steel frets is something to keep in mind. I think these guitars are cool, man. You know, I put up in my thumbnail overhyped question mark. I really don't think they're overhyped at all. I think, if anything, they're as fair can be from Jackson guitars. And honestly, I think these Virtuosos are better than the Soloists that came out last year in terms of like bang for your buck and value. They're cheaper, and if you don't care about bolt-ons, like I love bolt-ons. I prefer bolt-ons, but like if you can look past that, I think this guitar is better. What do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions, and what do you guys think about these new Jackson Virtuoso guitars? I'd love to hear from you guys. I love Jackson. I want them to succeed every single time that they put out something cool, and I think they always do put out something cool. So with that being said, man, yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below, and if you want to subscribe, I really sincerely appreciate it, okay? So with that being said, I'm out of here. See you guys in the next video. Later.